Hi everyone, Suneel, Dhand, medical doctor. Welcome to another video. I'm going to share a story with you in a moment, which really made me think about the reality of human nature and human beings and the capability to do good. Now, today is, of course, Good Friday, and it is a day of huge significance for many millions, if not billions of people all over the world. And no matter what anybody's background, anybody can draw inspiration from what happened on this day and over the next couple of days. So I know I talk a lot on this channel about all of the things wrong with the current system. Of course, primarily healthcare and focusing on health and well-being. And I know that my message resonates with so many people out there. That's why you watch me. And there is so much work to do. And there are so many bad forces out there which are taking us in the wrong direction. And you don't need me to tell you this. You know this. It is reflected in your healthcare every year. You're getting a poorer and poorer service, and everybody appears to be getting sicker and sicker. Lots of things to do, and we have an absolutely terrible current ruling elite. Unfortunately, most of them have doctor in front of their name or MD after their name. They don't understand what true health and well-being is. A lot of conflicts of interest, a lot of corruption as well. And I've talked about all of that before. But I want to focus in this video, considering the significance of this weekend. Of course, there's always going to be good and there's going to be bad, but I really want to think for a moment about the capacity of human beings to also do good. And I'm going to share a story with you. I regularly go on walks. Those of you who watch me regularly are probably not surprised. I absolutely love walking. I go at absolutely any time of day that I can, ideally outdoors. And where I walk, it is a mixture of pavement and greenery. And when I am walking outside in the neighborhood, I'm going around the block. This actually tends to happen more when I'm in the United Kingdom than the US. But I often, while I'm walking on the footpath, notice that there are snails on the footpath. And the particular area that I walk in, you have a footpath and then you have some green on either side. So I will see a snail right there in the middle of the footpath. And I often think to myself, well, this poor snail is trying to get across the footpath really slowly. And if it stays where it is, there's a high chance that it's going to get crushed. Somebody's going to walk over it. Its shell is going to get crushed. It's going to die. Or maybe a cyclist is going to come over and run it over. So often when I see these snails, what I do is I pick it up by the shell and then I will put it on the greenery to get it out of the concrete, out of the path. And I've noticed that when I do this, what happens, the snail, its head, and I don't know if you call it, its tail is out of the shell while it's on the footpath. And as soon as I go to pick it up, it retreats right into its shell. So I guess that's a protective mechanism to a hostile predator or player that is trying to do it harm. But the snail will always retreat into its shell every time I pick it up. And of course, I'm there trying to do a good thing. I just want to get it out of the path because I don't like the idea that it could get crushed at any moment. So I do this so often. Again, as I said, the area that I'm in, it happens more in the UK than when I'm in the US. But I just want to get it onto the greenery. That's what I do. Some people might find that weird. Other people might think, oh, I would do the same thing. So thinking about the reaction of the snail for a moment, that snail assumes that when it is touched, when somebody is grabbing its shell, when it feels some sensation, that it's a hostile actor, as it were. It's a predator or something. So it retreats into its shell. And what other thing would the snail possibly think, if we can even call it thinking? It's probably a natural reaction to a threat. And the reality of nature, I know a lot of people get all la-di-da and they think, oh, nature, it's so beautiful, which it is, absolutely. But when you actually look at what nature is in terms of the way that other animals operate, it's absolute brutality. The natural world is pure survival of the fittest. That's why most animals out there will have multiple numbers of offspring. Some animals have dozens. I think some in the sea even have hundreds of offspring. And that happens because only a few survive to adulthood. I've seen some statistics like turtles, for instance, when there's a turtle hatch, the surviving rate up to adulthood is crazy low. I think it's 1 in 100 or 1 in 1,000. That's a reality of nature. Every single animal is surrounded by predators who are trying to do it harm, basically eat it, usually. And that's a reality of how nature operates. And of course, that's the way nature has always operated. But think about this for a moment, okay? This comes back to what I do with the snail. The snail assumes that I'm going to do it harm, that I'm there as a predator. But human beings are basically the only animal that is capable of not acting out of pure instinct. We are capable of doing good things as well. Now, obviously, what I was doing, relatively small thing, but I'm giving this as an example. I was simply trying to take the snail to safety. In the natural world, that's basically unheard of. Other animals don't act out of pure goodwill. It's purely a basic instinct thing that animals do. They either try to get food or they try to protect themselves and their families, their offspring, and they're acting according to their instincts. So coming back to the profound meaning of this weekend and trying to reflect, and I'm always one for thinking that Easter is a time for pausing and trying to be as peaceful and calm as possible. It's always worth remembering that despite all of the bad in the world, all of the negativity out there, and I know I talk about a lot of negative things on this channel. It's not my intention, by the way. I don't think of myself as a really negative person. I don't think the people around me in my life close to me would say I'm pessimistic. I'm quite the opposite. But I do this to draw attention to things and hopefully see an improvement. But let's not lose sight of the fact that as well as a lot of humans being out there, sadly, a lot of them in the medical profession, completely, shall we say, idiotic. We have a lot of idiots in charge of health and medicine who are sadly doctors. A lot of people's heads are not quite screwed on right and they don't have the true health and well-being of the population at heart. Despite that, all of these negative forces, whether we're talking about conflicts of interest or corruption, let's not forget that there are probably hardly any human beings out there that are entirely bad. And human beings are capable of doing a lot of good as well. So if you're feeling a sense of despair, as often we do, that's something to always remember, because that definitely doesn't exist in the animal kingdom. Even the capacity to be a bit selfless, to want to do an act out of sheer goodness, that is something that is totally unique to human beings. And that is the thought that I would like to leave you with on this special weekend. I wish you all a very calm, peaceful, and restful weekend, and happy Easter. Take care, everyone. Dr. Snail Dhand. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Do check the links in the description down below for my website and all the other work I do. Hit the like button if you like this video, the subscribe button for more similar videos in the future, and we will speak again very soon.